How's everybody doing?
Hello, everyone. Do you have any homework for the day?
Okay, looks like Natasha responded in the chat. She's having some microphone issues. I did check out the because as they post the classes on YouTube, so I just checked it out briefly to see, what the class was working on, and it looks like they have a code. They started Code Wars, so they have Code Wars assignment this week to turn in one. So if anybody has any questions on Code Wars, me and Eric and I are happy to assist with those.
Alright. Yeah, the assignment is that we should try to work on some codes with the code work. So if you have any issue, we should raise it up here.
Okay, so welcome to, what is it, day 3, I think, of cohort 5. So something I wanted to talk to the class about was was the idea of just kind of like being patient with yourself. So I'm going to join, right? And I am going to sign up with my company email. I'm not sure if I signed up with it already.
Is that a recording?
Name,
Or it?
Yeah, that sounds like Sunday's class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I already have a username in here.
Natasha, do you know that we can
That's
hear
weird.
your computer?
Enlist. Let's see. Invalid. That guy will chat. Let's see if that is password. Let's see this list. Oh. Okay, so all right, so that's how you join. I thought
Hi everyone, good evening.
Hello, Emmanuel.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good, good.
What's going on today?
So I checked out your class on Sunday to record at least some of it. It looks like you guys are working on Code Wars and have to turn in one, I guess, before next Sunday.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's true.
So with that, yeah, if you have any questions on Code Wars or different solutions or anything like that, we're here to help you with that.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought people were solving code board problems and things like that.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said I taught people via solving code word problems.
Oh, right. Yep. You'll be solving code word problems. And yeah, if you want to, because I saw you taking volunteers on Sunday. If you want to share your screen to solve one, we can help you out with it. Or even if you wanted me to solve one to as an example, I can do that too.
Oh, yeah, sure. That makes sense. I don't mind.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yep, I'll solve one as an example. Let's see. Let me go to the site and get set up here. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, you can see it.
Awesome. So I have one queued up here, a super simple one, and I'm going to go through it and kind of explain my thought process on how to solve it. So the question asks, will you make it? You're camping with your friends far away from home, but it's time to go back. You realize your fuel is running out and the nearest pump is 50 miles away. You know that on average, your car runs on about 25 miles per gallon. There are 2 gallons left. Consider these factors, write a function that tells you if it's possible to get to the pump or not. The function should return true if it is possible and false if not. So this is the starter code that they already gave us. This is not something I pre-wrote. So they gave us the function already, and we kind of have to complete it. So what we know is the function already has 3 different parameters: the distance to the pump, the miles per gallon, and the fuel left. And so based on those 3 parameters, we're looking for a true or false to be returned. So how I would think about that is the example they gave is it's 25 miles per gallon and there's 2 gallons left. So, and just in plain English, if you're multiplying 25 by 2, you get 50. So there's 50 miles. And in that case, they wouldn't make it to the pump. So they will be multiplying the miles per gallon by the fuel left and seeing if that is greater than or equal to the distance to the pump. So in my mind, that's how I would work it out. Just if you ask me as a word problem, and now we'll just convert that into code, right? So with that, I saw on Sunday also that you guys were taking the code out and putting it in VS Code, which is a good practice. So I'll do the same here. So I'll go ahead and this is just a comment. We won't necessarily need that, but since we have that, we'll just go ahead and use an if statement and get that set up here. Our code block. So our if condition will be basically, in my mind, it would be the distance to pump. If the distance to the pump times the miles per gallon is greater than or equal to the fuel left, then we'll return true. So I'll start typing that out here. Whoops, let me back that out. So distance to pump. And distance to pump times MPG is greater than or equal to fuel left. And return true. And we'll use else because our other condition is if it's not true, it's false. So we're just going to throw an else statement and return false. So I'll also go ahead and test this out. Let's see. So We'll log it to the console. Call the function with some parameters. So we can call it with the parameters of distance to pump. Well, we'll call it with all three, but we'll use what they had in the example just to keep it simple. So they had 50 miles to the pump, 25 miles per gallon, and 2 gallons left. Okay. 50 and 25. Oops. 25 and 2. So based on this example, I would expect it to return true. So I'm going to save my code and
You
just
have
try.
not put .log, console.log.
Oh, yep. Good catch. Thank you for that. And we'll go ahead and open this up. And open up the console. And in the console here, we get true return. So with that test example, I think we'll go ahead and get the problem right. But I do want to just pause for any questions before I test this solution. Oh, I do see something in the chat. Let me take a look here. Okay, yep, looks like Natasha, you have a question. You can go ahead and send your question in the chat.
Terrence, do you
Yeah.
use pseudocode?
Yeah, that's yep.
Yeah, so
So yeah, pseudocode, just thinking it through as if it were a word problem. And like if we were in math class and this was a word problem, that's how I was kind of looking at this one here. And if we didn't have code, and like Erica mentioned, that's called pseudocode. Just how would you solve this in plain English? So I just kind of read it through and looked at it as if I was sitting in math class and they asked me this as a math problem. And that's for this particular example, right? Some of it's not always going to be math. Sometimes it's going to be you'll be dealing with strings and arrays and things of that nature. But this one just looks like a problem to me straight out of like a math book. So I kind of read it as such by comparing the numbers and solving it, like I said, in pseudocode, which is just plain English at first. And then now that I have it worked out in my head, then I kind of convert it to code. And they already gave us the variables. If they didn't give us these parameters, I would have created them for the distance to pump and the miles per gallon and the fuel left. So they named the variables pretty well also, which is what I would have did as well. Just kind of kept it really simple so that as I'm working through it, it just kind of clicks. I hope that kind of answers your question. Let me go to the chat. Okay, got it. Cool. Any other questions on this particular example before I go ahead and test it out? Okay, I'll go ahead and just throw this code back into the Coldwar site and paste it in and run a test. And it did not. This is the pump greater or equal to, okay. So expected true to equal false, completed in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Can we encode the distance to pump multiplied by MPG in brackets?
Oh, okay. It's not, you're saying group them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I wonder why that's interesting. I wonder why. my example. And
So
well,
the
maybe because I
better
used the
way to
one
do it,
example.
solve it first.
Wait, say it again. All right, let me go ahead and do some logs here. You can actually do console.log in the tests. So we can see zero fill. Okay, let me do this really quick. See what it's expecting. So what I'm doing now is checking the examples that they're providing to see where I went wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and log 3 different things here. I'm going to log distance to pump, the fuel, and MPG to see what was passed in on the one that I got wrong, and just to kind of see where I went wrong with this one.
Okay.
And I'll run the test again. Okay, so sample test. Let me actually do it this way. Let me label them. So I'll just put a string in here and do distance. MPG. And fuel. Let's make it a little more readable. This space both test. Okay, so distance is 50. MPG is 25. Fuel is 2. So that one I think passed. Then it gave me another one where distance is 100. MPG is 50. And fuel is 1.
Is it because it's equal to?
Huh. Let's see. Let me try that.
No.
Mhm.
Do you mind if I read the question? I'm sorry, I wasn't looking.
No, go for it. I'll go ahead and switch over to the instructions. There you go.
Yeah, we could also drop it in the chat.
Would you want me to drop it in chat?
Oh, the question,
Just the whole link or just the text of the question?
the text.
Gotcha. Dropped it in chat. Take a look here. Distance. Okay, let me also log the distance to pump times MPG. Let me log that as well.
Is there any way you could like send the link?
Oh yeah, I'll drop that in the chat too. Oops. And do this. Copy that. See, try it again. Oh,
So
okay.
in this question,
I see. Yeah, go ahead. I can see
yeah,
where I went wrong.
okay.
I mixed up my variables.
Oh, okay.
So
They
yeah,
expect the distance, since this is 50 miles away, with your car that runs at 25 miles per gallon. In this case, is going to be true. You get there because 2 times 25 is equal to 50 miles, the distance you have to cover. So how we need to validate this is number of gallons times the standard, which is 25. Like, is that what you have as MPG? Just checking.
yeah, MPG would be the miles per gallon. And it's yeah, I got it backwards. So I got the fuel left here, but it really should be here. Because if the
Yeah.
fuel that I have left,
So fuel left times 25 would always be equal to distance or greater than the distance.
yeah, so it should be yep, so variable mix up. The fuel left and then the miles per gallon times the miles per gallon. And then that should be greater than your distance to the pump because we got to get there. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to give that another test.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So in this case, it wasn't a code like
It doesn't
what they'll say
syntax.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, like right, exactly. There's two errors you can make with functions. So the one I made was a logic error, like my logic was off. Syntax was correct, but the logic, syntax meaning, the brackets and everything was in the right place. But the logic was off because I misplaced the variables. They're in a mixed up order. So even in getting the wrong answer, it's not a big deal. It's just where did I go wrong and how can I rethink it for the next problem? You know what I mean? So I say that to say, obviously with Cold Wars, you're going to get some difficult ones. So it is going to take some resilience, when you run into them. It's like, okay, well, I understood the concept, but my logic was off. So, you always think about it in those two boxes, whether it's a syntax error or a logic error.
Yeah. I think that was the first thing most of us checked, if it was a syntax, like adding brackets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense.
And also, as he said on Sunday too, you don't want to just test it. You also want to attempt, because sometimes the test only gives you like one or two test examples. So I'll get rid of all of this. And the attempt usually gives you about 100 different tests that get run. So this will tell you if we really got it right. And in this case, it is correct after we did the attempt.
Okay. Okay. Nice. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
So yeah, I would say that's kind of how you want to work on them and think through them, because it's going to, even a simple problem like this, I still brought out some tools as well, right? Using the console log to see, what's being logged and how it's being logged, and then going back and figuring out like where you went wrong with the code, because that's going to be a big part of it. A lot of your time will be spent like debugging. So
makes sense. Okay. Can I go next? Can I share my screen?
yeah, go for it. I'll stop sharing.
Okay, thank you. Which one do I want
Emmanuel, do you mind dropping the link for the code words problem?
No problem.
Perfect.
Okay. I just dropped the link. I will start sharing. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Can you see my screen? Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Awesome. So, question is, a pangram is a sentence that contains every single letter of the alphabet at least once. For example, the sentence, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, is a pangram because it uses the letters A to Z at least once. Okay. Given a string, detect whether or not it is a pangram. Okay. Return true if it is and false if it's not. Ignore numbers and punctuation. Okay. What kind of sentence are we talking? So I think they'll pass just any string. Yeah, these are the tests. Test one, the string here is the quick brown fox. Yeah, we know this one is a pangram for sure. And then this one is not. Whoosh. Okay. How do you start problems like in this? Sorry, I need
So,
to guess. Yeah.
yeah, so for this one, I can't say the answer right away, but here's how I would think about it.
Okay.
So it is being passed in a string, and we're also checking that string for specific values, right?
Yeah.
So I guess my question to you would be, do you know how to check a string if it contains a specific value?
I can use a switch statement to like, for this case, check if it has. And I think I've seen something about what's it called? Regular expression, but I don't know how to do regular expression.
Okay, yeah, and you can,
it-
yeah, you definitely
is
can
it
use a
in-
regular expression, but even I guess even more simpler than the regular expression, like the word string, right? If I wanted to test or check and see if the word string had the letter S in there,
Yeah, I can use like that's giving me an idea of using this substring method. Like there are methods that you can use on a string to see if it includes another string or character.
yep, and I think that's the key word right there too. I believe it's actually includes. I believe that's the method. I'm going to double check that now.
Okay.
It is.
It is. Oh, thanks, Erica. So the includes method, you can use that to check
Yeah.
for characters in a string. Now, the includes method by itself, I believe, checks just one character. In fact, I would do this as a learning experience. I would, oh, yep, perfect. I was going to say go to W3 Schools. Thanks, Erica. She sent the link for W3 Schools. I will pull that up on your screen so we can kind of review it together.
Mm.
The trick question is there a way to check for every single letter of the alphabet, or do we need to input A, B, C, and so forth within the includes param?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Right. So
Uh,
what I would do is, or at least how I would try to think about it, is I would probably take the alphabet and no, you know, I would take not the alphabet. I would take, well, yeah, I would take the alphabet and turn it into I would take the alphabet and turn it into an array, but I would also turn the string into an array and maybe run like for each, and then have each character check, from the
okay.
alphabet. Is how I would think about it for
Oh,
all of
that
the
reminds
characters.
me, there is another method called every. So you like use it to check if every alphabet in the brackets is included.
Oh, well, that's perfect. So then every is even better, because if you can use
Yeah.
every,
You do
then
this.
you can just create a string with the entire alphabet and compare it.
Yeah. Is my laptop ringing? Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yep, I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Oh, okay.
We can hear you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. So let me check for every. Just check the list.
So every is an array method. So are you going to turn the string into an array, or are we still working with strings? Sorry, I missed that part.
I think string in itself is an array.
Well,
An
it can be
array of,
converted into one.
Yeah, we could deliberately convert it into an array as well.
Absolutely.
Array dots. There is a method for converting things into array. Okay, so I was talking about every.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with my net. Where's my phone? Uh, yeah, I'm just going to switch to hotspot and see if this is better. Okay.
I think you can also use dot split.
To convert to an array.
String to an array. Yep.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, this is every. So these are an array of ages, and then oh no, this one checks every item in the array and see if yeah, we can use it. Sorry. Yeah, and see if each item is going to pass whatever condition you have in the brackets. Yeah. So like the condition here is age should be greater than 18. So it's going to check if 32 is greater than 33, 16. So if there's one false in between, everything will be false. This is going to return false. So looking at it now, every might not even be the case. Okay. What other method did you say we could use? So I think the first step is to like convert any string we get into an array. Okay. And splits. That's splits.
Yeah, split. We'll take your input string and turn it into an array.
Okay.
And then once you have an array, you can apply the array methods, like for each is one of the more common ones you could use. You
Check.
can use a regular for loop, but for each is pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so if you have a text like this, dot split. I see. Okay. Okay. And if you don't split anything, it's going to just split everything into characters. Perfect. So I'll copy this. And try and go back to code words. Oh, come on. Sorry, can you still see my screen?
Yep, I can see your screen. Looks like
Yes.
Cowork site is loading.
It's struggling to open. Okay. 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 So the string they are going to pass in is going to be where call string. Okay. So that's string dots splits. Yeah. This will be our new array. So do we want to give this save it in a variable?
I would, yeah, I would assign it to a variable so you can reuse it throughout your function.
Okay. So this is supposed to have array of characters. Okay. And we're supposed to check if every letter of the alphabet is inside this array. Okay.
You-
Is that where we want to use for each?
You can use for each, and then yeah, we can come up with a condition. Let me pull it up on my side too. So I can kind of code along with you. Let's see.
Oh, I just remembered. Isaiah was like, we're supposed to check solutions or something. How is that supposed to play out?
Yeah, so if you're supposed to instead just check the solutions and then kind of learn, kind of reverse engineer it, learn how they solve it and work backwards. You could do that too, but this one I think is
We
a 6Q KUY. Like this one is 6. I don't know if you can unlock the solution just yet, since yours is just an 8. Like since you're just getting started, like I don't think it'll allow you to unlock this solution. So what you could do instead is either we could, like you said, try to solve it, or you could go up. Like the higher the number, the easier it is, right? Since you guys are just getting started, we don't necessarily have to start with the 6Q one. When I got started, I was using all mine were 8s, right? Just so that I can build up some momentum as I was learning. So if you want to go to one that's an 8, you can unlock the solutions for those because you're at the 8Q, I think it's pronounced KYU. And we can kind of go, you can go that route, but it won't allow you to unlock it from here just because of the difficulty of it.
Is
the level
6, the difficulty for 6 is greater than 8, so that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. The lower the number, the more difficult it is.
Oh,
Yep.
I see. Okay.
So I don't know if we want to. I'm happy to continue this one if you want to do that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I was just trying to figure out how.
You want to continue with this one? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Let me pull the link up on my side here real quick.
Oh, Natasha has a solution here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let me copy this. Okay, so okay. STR is one. The whole sentence here. And this is go to this is another function doing
Yep.
checking if okay, first of all, converting everything to lowercase. Okay, makes sense. So we deal with only lowercase, yeah, moving forward. And I don't know what this line is doing. The
Oh yeah, that's a little bit more advanced. It's called destructuring, and
structure.
it's taking the length property from the string and setting it to a variable. So it's pulling out the length, and it looks like it's going to use that length in the
This saving it as okay. The length of str is
Yep.
going to be saved as variable called length.
Yep.
Okay. And then the alphabets. Okay, these are all the alphabets we'll be dealing with. Then alphabet array. Yeah, this is using
Which is what you did.
Using splits. So this has also been converted into an array. And for each one, checking the elements in str, using lengths. Okay. And alphabet.index of elements.
I think this is a kind of complicated.
Yeah, approach to it.
Because what you said the other day is like we should just check for the answer first, solution first. So there is a lot of solution. This one is too much complicated for me here. Because
Okay. Please, if you find an easier one, just post the idea of checking. Yeah. But
Yeah,
this
because
is-
it uses some more advanced concepts like the destructuring.
destructuring and using.
I have let me pull up some really quick
Okay.
because we were doing like 2 or 3 days a week. So I have some that we have already done that I can explain too, similar to the one I pulled up. So let's do that. Do you want me to share again, or do you want me to just send you the link and you want to try to, work it out?
Yeah, you can share screen. Looks like my
Okay.
is a mistake.
Mm. Okay, actually, rather than going straight to my solutions, I do want to just show you guys how I navigate the site. So I just go to practice
Okay.
and JavaScript for the language, of course. And difficulty, I would say just stick with 8s for now, like I said, to make it easy. And then tags, I took the same course you guys took, and I know he has like videos on a lot of the different types. So for example, I know he has one on strings, right? So I'll just go ahead and type in strings. Like I just want to see the easy string function or string problems, I should say.
Okay.
And then, and then sort by, I would say popularity, because the more people that completed them, probably the easier they are too. And that's pretty much it. Like this one, reversed strings is one number to string. Let me think. Removing first and last character. String repeat. We can try this reverse strings one here. So it takes a string or word and returns it, backwards. So I'll go ahead and train again. And we're starting off with a blank slate. So for this one, I'll go ahead and throw it in here. And Visual Studio Code just to make it more viewable. So I'll comment out the old ones and paste this new one. And then the first thing he has to do, which I saw you guys do on Sunday, is convert it into an arrow function. So in order to do that, go ahead, instead of having it look like this with the word function, we set it to just a const keyword and put an equal sign here, and then an arrow after our parameter. So this is the syntax for an arrow function. Oops. Oh, and an equal sign, actually. There we go. So that's the first thing he usually has to do, is just convert it into an arrow function and then begin working on the solution. So for this one, we would probably be better suited. Oh, let me see. I see some things in the chat. Let's see. Let's make sure I ain't missing anything. Okay, cool. So for this solution, to me, it would be easiest if we could use a method. So a method to reverse strings. So how I would look at it, I know what the method is, but I kind of just want to show you my thought process. First thing I would do is see if there's a method that can reverse strings easily, right? So less code, the better. So let's see. Reverse strings in JS JavaScript, right? So let's see. I like W3 schools.
Use a sort function.
You said the sort function? It looks like maybe because I started sharing, like it's not really moving. Let me see. Let me stop share for just a second and then try that again, because it wasn't. Search wasn't working. Just the sort function will put it in alphabetical order, but it won't reverse it. Like it won't, have the beginning at the end and end at the beginning. So the sort function won't necessarily do that, but it will put it in alphabetical order if it's a string of letters. Okay, now it's starting to work. Let me just share again, just so you guys see my full process for this. Let's see, share again. Should be one share. Okay, so what I found was there is a method that does reverse, but it doesn't reverse strings. It reverses an array, looks like. If I read through it here, scroll down. Okay, so it doesn't reverse strings. Looks like it just reverses an array. With that said, similar to what we did with the other one, we can convert the string to an array using the split method. So first thing would be, go ahead and set a variable for that. And I'll write comments as we go, because I know we did mention writing comments as well. So we'll say convert string to array. That's just shorthand. And we'll just say const array equals string dot split. So we use the split method for that. And as you type it in, like I typed in the split method here, visuals, this is why you want to use Visual Studio Code instead of coding directly in the browser. It'll give you a description of the method that you're about to use. So you can get, you can always look it up online, but Visual Studio Code, if you know the method, it'll pop up here as well and give you a brief description on how to use it. So first thing, converted our string into an array. And then we saw that we can use the reverse method to reverse an array. So if we do that, now we can use our new array and apply the reverse method to it. And I would say We can return that. Let's return that. Well, a couple things, right? Well, first we got to reverse it. So we can reverse it now that we have it set as an array. But after we reverse it, it's still an array. So we also would need to convert it back into a string. And to do that, we would use the join method. I know we're a little past time, so I'm kind of skip that step, but I would have looked up how to convert, an array to a string. And, the join method would have popped up here and I would have used that accordingly. But just for time's sake, I'll skip that part. So in this case, now we have an array that we turned, or excuse me, a string that we turned into an array so that we can use the reverse method, but the output is still expecting a string. So we want to turn it back into a string by using the join method. And we can do that a couple ways. I can set up another variable to turn it back to an array, or I can chain the methods, right? So put one method after the other. In this case, I'm going to chain them using the dot notation. So just a dot and then the next method that I'll be using, which is join. So then let me just write a quick comment here. Reverse the array and convert back to string using join. Reverse the array using reverse method and convert back to string using the join method. And now I'm just going to go ahead and log into the console. And we'll go ahead and pass in solution. And we'll just pass in, even though it's a string, I'll just pass in some numbers in the string. So 3, 2, 1, and it should return 1, 2, 3, right? So we'll just go ahead and do that. And I'll open it up in Chrome and then open the console to see what we got. Where did it? For some reason, Chrome is freezing every time I share my screen. Let me stop sharing for just a second and then get it pulled up and reshare. So let me go ahead and share again. Okay, so as we see in the log, it does on the console, it does log 1, 2, 3 when I put in 3, 2, 1. So I did reverse it successfully. So I think this will work. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in here to test it. And same thing, unfortunately, I got to stop sharing again. I'm not sure what the issue is with Chrome, but I'll just do it really quick here so we can get it pulled back up into the Code Wars tab. Let's see. Okay, so let me share my screen now. Okay, so I pasted it in and tested it and it failed. And it failed because first we converted it into an array. When you convert it into an array, technically it has commas, arrays in a comma separated list. And when I converted it back into a string using join, those commas are still there. So it's not expecting the commas. So with that said, we have to find a way to remove those commas. And to do that, we can use the believe it's the replace method. Yeah, we can use the replace method. So the replace method will find a specific character and remove all instances of that character. So we'll find the comma, and what will return in its place is nothing, right? So the replace method, we put in two parameters, the parameter we're searching for, which is comma, and the parameter that will replace it. In this case, nothing, because we want to remove it, we just replace it with an empty string. And that should work for us. So if we come back here and give it another test. Let's see what we got. Oh, there might be one more parameter missing from that replace.
Did you just remove the first one? The first comma?
I think, oh yeah, you know what? I think there is the other parameter is G for global.
For global, okay. Z
Let
slash G
me,
or just G?
you know what? I have to check that. Chrome is moving really slow, which is why I didn't want to go and search it. I was kind of winging it a little bit just for time's sake. But if you could look that up really quick, that'd be helpful, because for some reason it's not. It's really slow on my side.
So, okay,
Let me s-
so it's forward slash the what you want to replace, and then close it with a forward slash. Let me drop an example in the chat.
Please, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. It's been a while. That is it. Thank you. That will work. I'm just going to put it in there, and then I'll share my screen again before we test it. Okay. Oh, okay. You don't even need quotes. I got you. So we just need forward slashes instead of quotes. Forward slash here. Forward slash there. Okay. And then the G. Global. Like that. Okay. Yeah, it is. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so I did run the test and that did work. Let me just add a few more comments here. Okay, so here's our solution from top to bottom. We have a string that we want to reverse. First thing we did was convert that string into an array using the split method. Then since we converted into an array, we can use the reverse method since that's an array method. So we did that to reverse all the characters. Then we used join to turn it back into a string. But when we converted it back to a string, it left some extra commas because it was an array. And then we use replace to replace those commas with an empty string. And that was the test was successful. So now we'll go ahead and try the attempt. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you explain all those arguments in the replace?
Yeah, so there's two arguments in the replace. The first is a regular expression, and a regular expression is a topic in itself that you can kind of research, but for the because it's pretty broad. But for this example, I'm only replacing one character, and in between the two slashes is the character that I'm replacing, which is a comma. And then the second part of this is a G. for global. So I'm replacing all instances of the comma within my string. And then the behind that's the first parameter. All that's in the first parameter. And then the second parameter is what am I replacing it with? And in this case, I'm replacing it with an empty string, which means I'm just, essentially removing it.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. And now I'll go for the attempt. Looks like it's just taking a second, probably because again, I'm sharing my screen, maybe getting slowed down here. Okay, and so that did pass. So in this case, I chose the route of using methods that already exist to reverse a string. Of course, there's a bunch of ways of solving the same problem, but to me, this has very little code. So it's, the easiest solution from my thought process.
Yeah, definitely. Sweet.
All right, any other questions on this?
No?
Okay, I see you guys have
Yeah.
a coding channel in the Slack. I'll go ahead and drop this in there along with the link. And
Okay.
then with my comments, so you could always, refer back to it.
Okay. Yes. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for your time, everybody. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Okay. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, you too.
Have a good night.
Bye, Luca.
Have a good night.
Good night.